Okay, I welcome you all in the series 2 session 2 webinar. We already conducted session 1 almost 10 days back. Now, before starting, let me thank Joydeep for all the kind words he said in introducing me in the session 1. I forgot to give thanks during the session 1. Now let us start. So in this particular session, we are going to discuss the same thing, library carpentry, but we will handle some kind of complex scenario. Last time we installed OpenDefine. I hope that many of you already installed it and already tried with a little bit of small scale experiments. Some of you already rang me. I am very happy that you are taking interest of this emerging area of our domain. Because that data is the next revolution and we need to learn all these technologies in future. So what I am trying to cover in this particular session, that is as a kind of practical application of data wrangling techniques through a case study. We already conducted that one for measuring degree of openness in case of intellectual output of a university. We taken Kollan University for example in the last case, and utilize REST based API from ODBL based data sets provided by Unpaywall. So in the same way we are now going to handle as a case study in this particular webinar MARC data wrangling, which is very important for our domain. And then I am gradually will be introducing you two new concepts coming in a big way in our domain. That is, one is called NER, named entity extraction. How can we extract from unstructured data like a text data, a full text document, different kind of entities like person, organization, time, concept, event, etc. automatically through data wrangling, that is actually called text wrangling. It's a part of data wrangling. And then I will be going to show you practically the application of data reconciliation in our domain. Data reconciliation is again a very important concept for library and information science, because you already know that we are fortunate enough to have a set of linked open data, name authority file from VIAP, subject authority file from Library of Congress. Again OCLC came up with a very good project called FAST, faceted application of subject terminology. So how can we validate our local MARC data, name authority, subject authority, etc. through name registries. Even NER can also be linked with data reconciliation for helping you in selecting indexing terms. So again one by one. So case study 2 will be covering 3 areas, as I told you: ebook, NER and data reconciliation. Now I am providing you a problem first, then I am going to show you how we solve that particular problem, so that methodology some of you may apply in your libraries. You all know that RUSA fund, against RUSA fund our university got a huge funding. One of the part of that funding related to e-document, e-books, electronic databases, e-journals, etc. So selection of e-journals and electronic database was not a problem for us, but when it came to select e-books within a given time frame, RUSA fund is conditional. You have to spend that much amount of money with a preset or predefined time frame. So the situation is something like that. So we need to select around 50 to 100 e-books from 2019 collection of a publisher on literature and culture. So the collection size, a publisher means here I am taking the name also, it's Springer Nature. So Springer Nature provided us bundle of e-books on literature and culture. The collection size is 8427 number of titles in 2019 alone. So we decided that we will procure only current books, so 2019 collection, and that collection includes almost 8,500 books. Now, for selecting e-books or books of any kind, we need faculty recommendations, and when we contacted our faculty colleagues in the respective departments, they placed a very logical demand. As a member of the library team, I am a member of library committee, I came to know about this. So, faculty colleagues logically demanded that it is impossible to select 50 to 100 books from a set of 8,500 books within 4-5 days without checking the content and content etc. So, they demanded that library should shortlist these books, then send to them, and shortlisting must be done on the basis of some criteria. And we were in problem because we were not domain expert. How to select that? How to shortlist a set of books on literature and culture? So, and that we need to do within a week, and we literally consumed one particular day in discussing this problem with faculty, library staff and library committee members, and so effectively we had 4 days. So, there data wrangling literally saved our soul. So, we came up with a shortlisted document on the basis of a given criteria that I am going to share with you automatically through data wrangling techniques, provided that list to the faculty members, and then they selected around 45 books I think from that particular list. Okay. So, I am sharing the methodology we followed in solving this particular problem. So, first we collected MARC records for all this the bundle collection, which included 8427 number of titles in 2019. That MARC record sent to us by the publisher, but I am going to show you that Springer Nature provided a download portal from where anyone can download MARC record, pre-formatted validated MARC record against different kind of filtering techniques, collection, year, download format etc. I am going to share with you. So, then after collecting the MARC record from publisher, we tried OpenRefine, but OpenRefine not yet compatible with MARC data. So, it cannot handle MARC data very cleverly or very efficiently. So, meanwhile, we checked that MARCedit, many of you already know the MARCedit is a again a data wrangling tools mainly for the domain of MARC 21 bibliographic data, MARC 21 authority data. So, we utilize that MARCedit to convert our MARC record into OpenRefine compatible format. So, MARCedit is now compatible with OpenRefine and provided us two options. Either we can take data in TSV format and JSON format. We tried both the formats and both worked well, but I personally recommend TSV format, because TSV format one particular advantage is that it can handle your indicator positions value very efficiently in compare with the JSON format. During JSON format operation, we need to add a few techniques to handle indicator positions value, but that is not that problem is not available or not associated with the TSV format. So, I prefer that you convert your MARC record in TSV format through OpenRefine export operations of MARCedit. Then that MARC data, TSV formatted MARC data, we imported inside OpenRefine. Then there is a tool or service called Goodread. Goodread is very famous for classical literature, culture, social science documents. So, it's basically a crowdsourcing platform. So, anyone can share their reviews, their views, their ratings against a newly published book, or for any book available in the Goodread data sets, and many books are available. And we came to know, or we checked also, that Goodread provide a free API through which I can collect JSON data related to review count, and they have an indicator positions for indicating the quality of a book, that is called average rating. If average rating is higher than 3, then you can consider that particular document is a good one. And as it is completely based on crowdsourcing, so the chances of biasness is less. people are actually selecting the book, people are actually, readers are actually giving you the ratings, the reviews. So it's a completely crowdsourced data sets, completely available under ODBL, Open Database Licensing System, and provides a free API. So it's a unique opportunity for us. So utilize that Goodread API. Then the way you experienced in the first session, that how can we collect JSON data through API. So for last time it was from unpayworld.org, this time it was from goodreads.com. So we did the same thing, we collected JSON formatted data, then by applying Grail format we actually extracted the average rating value from each of the for each of the book available, or actually discussed. Most of the books are not discussed actually, but some of the books are discussed, and we collected the average rating. Then we sorted that particular average rating in descending order, prepare a list, and sent back it to the faculty members. So faculty colleagues, around 100 books we actually 90 books to be exact, we have collected through this format. We sent that 90 books with the ratings etc. The list included that rating. Then faculty members easily selected around 46 books out of that 90 books we sent to them. So in this way you solved a problem within almost 2 days. So let me go to the practical application of this. So what I say, that mark record, mark edit, Open Define, Goodread API, and Grail. So this four combination created simply a magic for us. Let me share that methodology in practice. Okay. Now I am opening my Open Define. Let me first check whether my server is running or not. Okay, so this Open Define server is running. You already know how to start Open Define, how to install it, how to configure it. So I am not going into that details. I started my Open Define server. Now opening Open Define. So this is actually working fine. So directly we cannot import mark record here. So what we need to do first, we are going for first let me show you this Goodread and admin portal. So this is the admin portal of Springer Nature. Anyone can come to here. Springer Nature ebook download. If you see, Springer Nature metadata is completely free. Anyone can download. So we selected language. Then within language, different subdivisions we selected. We selected year 2019. You can see here. We selected year 2019, and then finally we selected the download format is Mark 21. So if I click download, it will be downloaded. I already downloaded it. So I am going to that particular folder. So we already downloaded it in here. So this is the .mrc file. You can see Mark Literature Culture Springer.mrc. So we need to utilize this mark record first inside Mark Edit. So I am opening Mark Edit now. So here it is. So now I am opening Mark Editor. It will take little bit of time. So my Mark Editor is now ready to accept mark record. So I am opening that mark record, already downloaded. Open, then all files. So it is available under session 2 folder. So this is the Mark Literature Culture.mrc file, you can see. So this file we selected. Now if I open it, it will again take little bit of time because all 8500 records are now loaded inside Mark Editor. So it is done. you see you already know this particular format, how marked edit work. So we are not performing any operation inside here. These are all validated pre-formatted mark records we have got from the publisher. So what I will do, I will export it for OpenDefine. So now you see export for OpenDefine, that option is now available in MarkEdit 7.x. So I am selecting OpenDefine. Now you can see, so it can give you two record set. One is the TSV format, another is the JSON format. As I said you, the TSV format works better. So I am now again reducing the size. So now I am giving a name of this file, mark2or. Now in which format we are going to select it? In the desktop. We created already a folder called session2. So TSV is our format and this is the name, we are saving it. Now the moment I click save, all are now exported in TSV format, which OpenDefine can handle and getting stored inside the designated directory. So don't worry, it will not take much time. Okay, so export has completed. Now I am clicking OK, minimizing MarkEdit and quitting from MarkEditor. Now you see in our folder mark2or TSV is ready. So next step is to open this particular TSV file inside OpenDefine. So let me go to my OpenDefine. So first I will import. So this is session2. So this is mark2or TSV. I am selecting it and clicking next. Now if I maximize the window, you see here how efficiently OpenDefine handle indicator position value. So this is the record number, this is the tag, this is indicator position value, and this is the content. So I am giving a tag, say test BLA. I have a plan I am going to share with you that what I am going to do. So this is TSV format, rest of the things are default. Now click create project. Now here you see, let me select 50 rows so that you can see. So this although record number is 8427 only, there are 3,47,077 rows, because you can easily understand this. Each mark tag created one row. So this is record number 1, field tag 001, this is the content. So if we scroll down now to the bottom, you see what is that. So your record 1 is ending here with 950 tag, then there is a blank line, then there is a blank line, and your record 2 start here. So again many rows are there, record 2, it's actually repeating record 1, record 2, etc. So all 8427 number of records are handled in this way inside your OpenDefine. Now I am again minimizing it. So now what to do with this mark record? So what is our target? Our target is to get recommendation or average rating from Goodread API. So Goodread API will provide data against a unique ID. And what is the unique ID of a book? We all know ISBN is the unique ID of the book. So we need to group this 8,427 records, 8,427 records according to the ISBN number. So you see how I am doing this. So I am going to tag, selecting facet, then text facet. So now you see within few seconds entire tags will be coming here. So entire tags will be coming here, and this particular 0 to 0 tag I am selecting. So in the 0 to 0 tag, when I am selecting, you see it is giving me ISBN number. Now that ISBN number I can have, but this particular format is not going to help help us, because Goodreads understands only raw ISBN number, and here you see the data includes $A ISBN number, then $9 hyphenated ISBN number. So we need to do reformat this particular ISBN number in this way. So you already know the process how to do that by utilizing Grail. So let me do that. So I am creating a particular value. Say facet, edit column, add column based on this column. Then you see what Grail I will be utilizing. So this is the Grail I am going to utilize. Let me show you slightly in bigger way. So I am utilizing value.replace $A subfield A with blank, then replace subfield C. Subfield C, for the cancelled ISBN number, then split subfield 9. Now I am adding raw ISBN. So if I give raw ISBN as column name and click OK, you see what happens. Even in the preview also you can see what is happening. So this particular value is getting stored like this. So reason is very simple. Value.replace subfield A with a space, then replace subfield C with a space, split. Click OK. You see here one particular new column created, that is called raw ISBN number. Now we can utilize this particular raw ISBN number. Now before utilizing that raw ISBN number, let me extract in the same way $100. If I group by 100, now you see. So this I am extracting because I am going to show you the name data reconciliation. So I need the raw main entity personal name here, not with this kind of subfield indicator, subfield 4, etc. So you can do this thing with again add column. So let me give the name as raw tag 100, and then in the same fashion I am utilizing Grail. So here you see, if you can see this data, see this particular data set includes preview column. So it includes subfield A, subfield E, subfield 4. So I replaced $A with a blank, then splitted subfield E and subfield 4 because we do not need this for reconciliation. I need raw form of data. So the data came. Now if I click OK, you see another field created, raw ISBN, and this raw tag 100. Raw I am utilizing this to indicate that it includes only the value without any kind of subfield delimiter, subfield values, etc. So in the same way, now I am doing the same thing, that is stripping of subfield from 5 to 0. This I am going to utilize for name extraction, NER, for name entity recognition. Now again here the case is very simple. It's completely text summary note 520 tag 520. It's a complete text only added with subfield A. So I am again creating a column, add column based on this column. So I am giving name as raw T 520. T stands for tag, 520 is basically the summary note. Now I am utilizing only this simple one. You already know the logic here. Value replace subfield A. In the preview column, you see it will only replace subfield A with a blank, and the pure text or raw text will be coming. Now I can click OK. Now if I click OK, you see here one column created, and that column is now includes raw text. So in this way we extracted values from 3 different columns. Now I need to go back to 0 to 0 again, because for our case Goodread API this 0 to 0 is actually required. So in the raw ISBN number, now I will throw this particular value for each of these books. Values are different to Goodread for collecting JSON formatted data. So how to do that? You already know REST based API. So edit column. This time I am going for add column by fetching URLs. Then I am giving here name Goodread data. Then utilizing this API. Here let me explain. So value is basically the raw ISBN, then against each value I am prefixing this one. So this is the API review count.json. You can have an idea about Goodread API from here. So this is goodread.coms/API. Lots of APIs are given with examples. So we are utilizing only API for reviews and average rating. So you can check which one is suitable for you, different purposes. So I am again minimizing this one. So here if we select preview, you see what is happening. For against each and every ISBN number, actually this is prefixing is equal to ISBN number, is equal to ISBN number, and so on. So I am clicking OK now. Now you see it will start negotiating Goodreads to collect different data sets. So it's a big data sets, around you see 8,900, 8,500 to be exact. So this particular data sets will be fetching data. It will take 2-3 hours of time, and if we wait, our webinar time will be over. So what I the path I took here is we already created these data sets after harvesting JSON data in another. Let it work. So it is working here, and I am coming back with a finished data set. So where you see we have already created raw T100, T520 and raw ISBN, and Goodread data we have collected here. So let me maximize this one. So if I click 50 rows, so 50 rows now loaded. Now here you see Goodread data we have collected here, just like here we have given Goodread data, here also we collected. And let us check how many of these books are actually discussed in Goodread. So data set collected. Now again I am going to group by ISBN number, so 0 to 0. Then I am collecting to my column Goodread and selecting only those books for which Goodread data is available. So I am going to facet, customize facet, and facet by blank. So which are blank and which are not blank. So not blanks are basically included JSON formatted data. So if I click here, so it will be divided into two groups. true and false. So you see, true is 8337. So in the bundle of 8500 ebooks, only 90 books are actually discussed in Goodreads. So you see, around only 1% book is read by different people of the world. So it's a good way to check how people are utilizing ebooks. So if I click false, here you see what happens. So this particular books will be available, and this is the JSON formatted data. So this is the JSON formatted data, you see, and each of this particular data, if I go for it, say any one of it, say this one, which includes 4. So it says average rating is 4 for this book, then review count 0, and this is available, this is the ISBN 13, and this is available under the array book. So this is ISBN number. Now you already know how can we extract. We need only average rating of this book, and it's a common knowledge in the domain of Goodreads that anything greater than 3 or higher is a better book or a good book. Now we need to extract this average rating from this JSON formatted data. So what to do? You already know, we did it in the same session 1. So I am going for edit column, add column based on this column. Now I am utilizing, we need to parse JSON data. So here I am utilizing this one. You see here, let me explain. So value parse JSON, books is the array, so array 0. Then I am utilizing the item of information is average rating. So let me give a name of this particular column, say average rating of Goodreads. Now if I see the preview also, so you see for the first one it is 4, second one it is 0, and so on. So it is working. So I am clicking OK. So the moment I click OK, you see here one particular column will be created, that is average rating. So if it is not numeric, we need to change it. It is already showing numeric, but still to be sure enough, it is always better to change. Edit cell, common transform. So we did it in the last case also. I am changing this particular column to number. So number means it will be showing you in green color and the values will be right justified. Now average rating we are getting for each book. So almost 90 books are actually discussed, and this is the average rating. Now if I sort this particular column in descending order, then I will be preparing a list of preferred books. So this is the highest value, this is highest value, middle value, and low value, etc. So if I go for sorting, sort, then number, largest first, OK. So you see, so top few books got rating 5. 5 is very good actually, then 4, then 3, and so on. Okay. Now let us select only those books which received positive average rating. So we can send all these 90 books. Some books discussed in Goodreads means these are good books. You don't have to always depend on the average rating, but still we want to check how many books got rating within the range from 1 to 5. So if I click here and click facet is equal to numeric facet, you see what happens. So average rating here came. I am unchecking blank. Now numeric value, I want to select value from It is a scale, you can move both ways. So I am selecting value is 1. Okay. So the moment I select the range from 1 to 5.02, so you see here a total of 39 documents actually matching. So these are the topmost books in the collection. So we sent all 90 books, shortlisted 90 books. Faculty members selected 46 books, and amazingly all these 39 books included in that 46 selected book. So average rating has a unique value, and if you don't give this average rating, then also in most of the cases you will be seeing that researcher faculty members are selecting those books, and then you check with the average rating, it will be matching. In many cases we have checked. So now we can export this 39 records or 90 records, export as an Excel file, HTML table, etc. Okay. This is how we managed actually the case study 1 ebook. Now let me come back to another very excellent concept, that is NER, very quickly. So I am clearing everything here. Okay. Before that, let me clear everything. So here you see almost 1% completed. So let it walk. So these are the all let me remove the sort also. I am removing sort. So I am just bringing it back to the square one in the same position. Now you see I am going for NER. So I am making this ready. But definitely before starting I will give you some introduction. So I am actually doing this thing, facet, text facet. Then I am selecting 020 ISBN number in this data sets. Then I am selecting main entity personal name for name reconciliation. Then I am selecting 245. Then I am selecting 520. So 4 tags I have selected against each record. Then the topmost document on the average rating with 5 I flagged. So the moment I go for the facet by flag, so that single record will now be displayed. You see, if I click true, so the record number 7 to 9 is having 020 value. Then the raw ISBN number, then average rate, group, etc. So let me clear the unwanted file from here, unwanted columns rather. Okay, so average rating is 5. So this is the name authority and this is the text. So now I am going to introduce you quickly with the NER. NER basically, as I discussed, is a name entity extraction. We can create different kind of meaningful data from a set of unstructured data. So you can go for this example. Wasim catalogued 100 books of Central Library, Kolkata University in 2019. If I throw this text to any NER service, so it will identify Wasim is a person, Kolkata University is an organization, and the time frame is 2019. So it is quite familiar with us because when we classify a document, we take the raw title and then convert the raw title into kernel terms. Then attached kernel terms with our isolate size idea available with the classification schemes we are utilizing, then check the isolate number and synthesize class number according to the rule of that classification scheme. So same way it is doing actually. We are doing it humanly, manually, so they are doing it mechanically. And this concept already discussed by you must read it in your MLIS course by the Salton in his the famous probabilistic vector space model. So this is already theoretically discussed in 1979 by Salton. So in our case, what we are doing, we are basically this way we are actually working. We sending unstructured data, then our IR is basically giving to information extraction, this again going to NER, this way it is working. So it takes plain text, tokenize, that means it converts each of the paragraph. Suppose it is getting a paragraph, then paragraph is converted break into sentences. Sentences are actually converted or break down into tokens. Tokens are roughly equivalent to the terms and words. Then NER is actually adding POS, part of speech tagging. Then there are basically logics and rules. On the basis of that it extracts entities and metadata. There are two categories of NER available. One is the knowledge based approach or ontological approach. Here we have generic one, WordNet, and the domain specific one like Spacy, Medley, Gate, etc. Other one is machine learning approach. Again it divided into two groups, CRF, conditional random field, and hidden Markov model, HMM. So in the HMM group we have NLTK, and in the CRF group we have a very famous one, Stanford NER, which you can install locally for your NER. So we are utilizing here local NER, Stanford NLP. We need to install it, DBpedia automatic and Dandelion automatic. That is, Dandelion is supported by Wikipedia and DB Spotlight is supported by DBpedia. We need to configure Dandelion. DBpedia is already configured inside OpenDefine. So let me go again to OpenDefine. So here you see the text, raw text. Now if I select this raw text, how first of all you see how to add this one. If you click, you can click configure service, named entity recognition. So we have added Stanford, data.txt, Dandelion, and DBpedia Spotlight. So you are going to check DBpedia Spotlight and data.txt. So I am cancelling it. Now if I click, so I have selected only one record and checking with two services. So record is top record 7 to 9. So I am selecting this tag, raw tag 520. It's a pure textual field, summary note. Then I am adding extract name entity. If I click extract name entity, I am selecting DBpedia and data.txt. For the time being I am excluding Stanford because I need to start my local service there. So if I click OK, if your machine is connected, so it will readily collecting, as it is for one record only, it worked very fast. So it will readily collect data from DBpedia Spotlight and from your Dandelion, and finally will give you this particular. Okay, let it work. So I am now again going in the data reconciliation. So data reconciliation, as I said, that it can actually give you a concept through which your local data sets can be matched through different name registries available as linked open data. So in the linked open data set, we have different kind of name registries, name authority, subject authority, and we can utilize OpenDefine to perform data reconciliation with the help of all these linked open data sets. So for example, we can take personal name and reconcile with VIAP name authority. We can take concept related to either available in the 650 tag, 651 tag as a subject, or 600 tag. Then we can reconcile with Library of Congress subject heading. So what we are utilizing here, most of the cases the data reconciliation services are available in two groups. One is the individual one, so it handles only one data sets, and another is the agglomeration, many kind of data sets it can handle. Then these services can again be configured into two ways. One is that you can directly utilize the API, or you can utilize a Python script to handle content negotiation between your OpenDefine and the linked open data sets. So we followed the second approach. We utilized a local Python script like conciliator to data reconciliation for VIA, ORCID, Open Library, then Bibliothèque Nationale of France, Library of Congress. So these are all dealings with the name authority. Then name plus subject, we have utilized here LC, Library of Congress reconciliation. We are not interacting with LC. We have a local Python script. OpenDefine is contacting that local Python script, and it is snatching name authority and subject authority through data reconciliation mechanism of OpenDefine. Similarly, we can also utilize fast reconciliation in this fashion. So I am going to show you one for the name authority, that conciliator, one for the subject authority, LC reconciliation. We also configured fast reconciliation, but LC and fast is almost same. LC is more comprehensive, fast is a stripped down Library of Congress name authority and subject authority. So we can handle or validated 100 subfield A, 700 subfield A, that is main entity personal name, added entity personal name, main entity corporate author, added entity corporate author, all name kind of things. Then 650 subject heading, 65 topical heading, then 651 geographic name heading, etc. So let us go back again to our OpenDefine to see what happened. So it is almost completed 2% now. Now let me group by the 520 tag. So we conducted it against 520 for the fast record. So we can simply go for the faceting also. Let me check. So all facet by flag. So our flagged record will be coming. So let me check whether it has completed or not. Something went wrong. Let me again try. Meanwhile, alongside data reconciliation process. So facet, let me remove this column. So for this tag 520, let me check my availability of my internet first. So internet, I think it is working. first let me check with DBpedia one by one. So I am again going to, okay, minimizing it. I am again going to check with extract name authority. This time I am selecting DBpedia Spotlight, start. Now you see DBpedia Spotlight came. Something went wrong with the internet, so it already extracted with n number of values against this particular I'll be showing you. So let me try again with data.txt or dandelion separately. So extract name entities. Now this time I am selecting data.txt, start extraction. So it was internet problem. Now data.txt took the same thing, and you see here these are the named entity it extracted. So I am maximizing this so that you can see. So entities are actually came. Now this way we can go for now here you see the main concept is video game. Here main concept is Unity game engine as proposed by DBpedia. Now if I click this one, it will open up the corresponding entry in Wikipedia. So it has given me many terms. I am showing you only one. So video game, what it is. As I told you that data.txt is based on Wikipedia. Similarly, you see here DBpedia Spotlight is based on DBpedia, so it actually extracted main concept. I am showing you only the main concept, it extracted many other things. So Unity game, if I click Unity game, it will go to the DBpedia site and it will give you the concept or the entry, Unity game engine, then different kind of other properties related with this term. DBpedia is a hugely structured data set. We must use this particular facility inside our library system. So I am closing this one. So this is the name entity extraction. Many one particular group of text I have thrown, and it given me many concept. I have shown you only one. So if you scroll down, many other concepts will be coming. So let us quickly go to the next concept, that is the data reconciliation. So again I am going to reconciliation. So in this reconciliation process, I am showing you the name authority through conciliator and subject authority through LC reconciliation. Let me take this extracted name Nicole Benjamin. Now I will check it with conciliator. So let me start my local Python script. So I am opening a new terminal. Going to, so this script is actually available from the OpenDefine.org. So they maintained a page for reconcilable data sources. So there you can download. I downloaded it from here and configured and running in locally. So I am running or starting my conciliator. So it will start, and if everything is going well, it will take a few seconds. Then you see it is telling you that it is running 5005 port and it server already started. So before utilizing this conciliator, I can minimize and I can check whether my VIAP is working in the local host or not. I am giving localhost colon 5005 reconcile. So this is the URL. So it should respond against a VIAP JSON data sets. That what are the things available inside. For the first time it may take some time. So you see, this is the JSON data set, so it responded, so my reconciliator is working fine. So now I can go back to my meanwhile it is completed only 3%. I am now again coming to this one. So first, in this particular name I am reconciling with VIAP dataset. VIAP, you all know, it's a virtual internet authority file, virtual international authority file created, the project created by OCLC. It is all the name authority files of 25 national libraries are gathered together and made available as linked open data. So that we are utilizing through Conciliator. You see here, start reconciliation. Now suppose I don't have anything here. Now you can see this particular screen. So I already have two default things. I am going to add this one. So I am copying this URL, it will be required, then add standard services. So there I am adding this URL. So this is a local script. It will be acting as a content negotiator between the VIAP datasets and my local OpenDefined add service. So it will be adding. Now it's okay. So adding is okay. So I am going out, and again I will come back for this one, name authority. So let me increase the size again. So this is name authority. So this now I am going for reconciliation. That is, I am going to check what is the preferred form of representing this main entity personal name in 100 tag. So I can check, I can get it checked through VIAP. Start reconciliation, VIAP. So this time you see it is selecting person. So this is a main entity personal name. I am selecting person. Then I am clicking start reconciliation. So it will contact VIAP, and within second it is going to tell me that, you see here how advanced this one. I am doing it for one record, one book, but to save time, but it can be done for millions of books instantly. So this is the Nicoli Benjamin. So there are three forms are there. 0.94%. So 94% of the books available in different national libraries are using this Nicoli Benjamin. Now if you want to use this particular things, it's exactly the same. So this one is another one with date of birth. So I am selecting the first one. If I click match this item to this cell, so it will be now converted into reconciled data. So the moment I now click, it will go to VIAP datasets and will give me the data back on the basis of this author data. Now what is the utility? Utility is that suppose you have a set of MARC records or the poor quality MARC record, not rightly formatted, you don't have subfield D, you don't have subfield D. So all you can check through this data reconciliation services from VIAP, and you can pack back the reconciled data inside your MARC record. So it's a very good utility for the data reconciliation. So let me again show you that how can we deal with the extracted subject, main subject, what our data.txt and dbpd extracted. So suppose video game and Unity game engine, I want to check the Library of Congress subject heading list. So before that I need to start again. So I am closing this one. Now I need to start again my LC service. So LC reconciliation, I am starting this. It's again a Python scripting. You can have the link from opendefine.org to install it locally. So it quietly started in this particular IP address, my local host in 5000. So I can again check that whether it is running or not. So this I am running in 500. So now you see that it is responding. It is giving me both subject authority and name authority. So again I am going back. So now I want to check these two extracted subject from one from the data.txt, one from dbpedia. So I am not utilizing other extracted name heading, only these two to save time. So suppose again before reconciliation I need to add this one. So this is the address. You can add any number of reconciliation services. So I am again going to reconciliations, start reconciling. Now add standard service. So this time I am adding localhost. So add service. So immediately it added. For the first time you need to close it. Then again I am going to this data.txt, reconciling, start reconciliation. So the moment I select LC, so name authority and subject authority available. This time I am going for the subject authority. Now if I click start reconciling and come back to my data sources, you see my negotiator is actually sending my request to the LC subject authority, and 200 means response is successful. And let me check what Library of Congress proposed. So it says that for these data sets most of the libraries are utilizing the same one, video games, and I can select in the same way. I can click and select video space games, not video games together. Similarly, if I go for the dbpedia Unity game engine, if there is any thing, let me reconcile this value. You can reconcile all values by clicking double check, or you can create from action. You can select action, match cell to is best candidate. So I have only one, so I am not utilizing it. I am utilizing this facility, match this item to the cell. So now the subject heading is changed. You can do it mechanically also, no problem. So let me try that whether Unity game engine has got any standard heading from LC or not. So I am again starting reconciliation, selecting LC, selecting name, selecting subject, not name, and start reconciliation. So it will again contact. So it responded with 200 status. Now let us see. Okay, Library of Congress could not provide any options for this one. You can create a new one. So this is success and this is failure, because it's a very specific heading, don't available or not, it is not available in Library of Congress. So suppose if I click this one, I can check this heading from Library of Congress directly along with the NT, BT, RT structure. So this is, you see, this is the term video games, and these are the narrower terms, these are the variants, this is the border term, and so on. So excellent possibilities are there. I have shown you for only one record, but it does not mean that you need to follow only one record. In real life, we are doing it with millions of documents. Okay, so to save time, I just selected the topmost record in according to the average rating of Goodread. So meanwhile, this 1 hour it completed 4%. So I am coming back. NER and data reconciliation together can do miracle for us. We can take a set of unstructured data, go for named entity extraction, concept, object, event, place, person. This is automatic process. Then we can go for data reconciliation. Data reconciliation is a semi-automatic process because sometimes you have to give your human judgment that what say for example in case of author I have selected 3 options were there, I am selected the first one. So you can also do it mechanically, the best matched option. It will be giving you a percentage of the usage of that particular name or that particular subject heading. So we can go for the best match option also. Then we can repack it back to the Mark 21. So that's all about data wrangling. So in the next session we will be dealing with a separate concept, although this comes under library carpentry. We will be checking how graph theory can be applied in library cataloging for producing more information rich environment. So thank you very much.